Hello everyone, Castian Plague, and I'm doing another Slapped Hams, wearing my awesome Slapped Ham merch from Slapped Hams themselves. This is From the Deep, Kraken in a Bowl, it's awesome, one of my favorite shirts now. So let's get into this, and this is a bit different, and it is a bit of a time travel back, because I'm watching an older one with weird and scary rituals performed around the world. Thought I'd get some education on some subjects. Ooh, the chicken
Witch
foot.
bottle is a unique
I've
ritual.
had a chicken foot.
Average people typically create them to find protection against unknown energies and spirits. They're usually filled with vile ingredients. Historically, these bottles have either been made by folk healers or a trusted witch. If one believed that they knew someone possessed by a spirit, the person's urine, nail clippings or hair were a pivotal ingredient of the bottle. These bottles were also filled with needles, pins, rosemary and
Tells
red
me stuff
wine.
like that sometimes.
The belief is that the spirits will be attracted to the victim's ingredients, trapped by the pins and needles, forced to drown in the red wine and banished by the rosemary. These bottles were typically hidden away in the furthest corners of one's property. The first mention of a witch bottle appears in a 1681 book by Joseph Glavel.
Alright, well let's get a look at this. If you want to check it out, just check it out, have a pause and have a read, have a gander. Cool. This was the first one. 2 parts, the first. Ability, the second, real existence. Okay, so it's like a manifest and then real existence.
Seducimus triumphatus, or evidence concerning witches and apparitions. These bottles were constructed to bring peace to a household and to drive away malicious spirits. They're quite complex to study since they were sometimes made by witches and other times to drive witches away.
Collect
a more
like
recent example of witch bottles being used in the United States dates back to the Civil War. It's said that Union soldiers may have buried witch bottles in order to keep themselves safe from Confederate troops. This is only a theory, as it's highly possible troops would have had no other way to dispose of common witch bottle ingredients such as urine without creating a historical misnomer. Frog coffins are a form of folk magic performed in Finland. Just as the name implies, frogs were put into tiny coffins and often buried in secret locations. Dating back to the early 20th century, these weird rituals were actually meant to work as a type of counter magic, just like witch bottles. Generally, frogs are chosen to represent amphibian and aquatic life.
One of the best and safest ones
lore
to
of the frog coffin
practice.
involved taking the luck of a successful fisherman
Can be quite
and harnessing
dangerous.
it for the folk magic of the frog coffin. That luck is then diffused into magic and reflected back at malicious spirits. The recorded uses of frog coffins range from benevolent attempts to cure epilepsy to malevolent intent to kill. It was thought that the magic generated by such coffins was powerful enough to accomplish a wide range of effects. Folklore archives from all over Finland
give it a go and try,
many instances of these coffins having been buried for multiple purposes. The consistent factor between them is the importance of the coffin itself. Some similar coffins have been found in the area containing other animals and objects. However, because their method and intent seem to be the same, these objects are often grouped together with frog coffins.
They were in a European area,
it is worth noting that many of these coffins have been found in churches all over Finland, due to the structural integrity and longevity of such buildings over the years. Have you ever heard of a frog coffin? Let me know in the comments section below. The practice of offering food and libations to the dead is widespread. The form and method may have changed throughout history, but it is a common pastime. It's noted that the practice of pouring a small amount of wine on a grave has long been popular between Egypt and Greece. In ancient Rome, this process was taken to an entirely new level. Libation tubes were made to flow directly into the inside of graves.
You would have on your altar if you have an altar.
The dead could partake in food and drink in a purer form. These offerings typically first came during a feast known as Cena Novemdialis. This marked the end of the 9-day Roman grieving period after a loved one's death. The family would share a meal at the loved one's grave, pouring food and drink down the libation tube. This and other Roman celebrations were later put to an end by Christian leadership. These rituals were considered pagan and offensive.
Christians have stopped a lot of
pouring vodka
other
onto the graves of
rituals
loved ones
shining
lives on
into
in Russia today.
anything big enough.
Some Chinese cultures offer wine
Still
or tea at
shun
the
other
tombstones
rituals,
of the
so
deceased.
yes.
Japanese culture puts particular emphasis on making careful offerings at the shrines of the dead.
Yep.
The Mexican holiday of Dia de los Muertos is well known for its offerings. The graves of loved ones are populated with large amounts of their favourite food and drink. These are later enjoyed by the living.
Of skulls and,
while these practices are so widespread, the slight cultural differences in how they're carried out is worth noting. These practices typically involve sharing food or drink between the living and the dead. The idea is to replicate the feeling of sharing a meal with a loved one, even in death.
So they are never truly gone.
Some of you may not realise we've launched a slap link in the description. The tradition of hiding shoes and boots was carried out for different reasons. Shoes were often hidden in order to protect a home against spirits. For some, it was a chance to perform benevolent magic working as a fertility charm. The practice dates back to the 14th century and was widespread in Britain.
Fertility charms.
These shoes and boots were typically hidden in homes, often inside of walls. But they were also hidden in businesses or factories in order to bring them good luck or to ward away any accidents.
Represent fertility.
Whether or not they worked, we can't be sure.
I've never heard of the boot one,
shoes
though.
have provided historians with an accurate picture of shoes throughout the ages.
The
hidden
still
shoes
learning.
were typically
Everyone
worn out and in need of repair.
is technically
discarded
learning
because they are of no more use.
And when they learn,
there are
they
differing
notice things a
theories
little
as to
bit
the
more,
true purpose
and
of
it's
the
clever.
ritual. Some believe the scent attached to the shoes
What we
and
should be
boots
doing,
was thought
but
to draw in friendly
in
spirits,
some sense,
who would then bring
others
a
have to
household
destroy
good
to
luck.
learn.
Others see the scent of the shoes as a sort of trap that would lure in evil spirits that could then be banished for good. Either way, the ritual was so widespread that thousands of such shoes have been discovered on walls of buildings.
Number one. Ooh,
oddly enough, these cats seem to be widely found in the same buildings as boots and witch bottles.
I've heard of this.
This suggests superstitious people of the time often found themselves doubling or tripling down on protective charms for their home. It's thought that the idea of mummifying cats was lifted from the ancient Egyptian practice. Cats were deified in Egypt, so some of that reverence made its way over to Britain.
Some great mystery in
fertility,
Egypt.
Justice, and power. It's thought that this reverence was
going on
reflected
there
in these slightly weird and scary rituals. What is interesting about this is the witches, who are often said to take the.
Let's hope everyone pretty much has a great Halloween this season. It's been calm here, so we are loving it, and I'm Casting Plague, hoping you have a great day, morning or night, wherever you are. I know it's not the usual spook, but it was just a little slapped ham education about some rituals that I didn't know about, and some I did, while happily wearing the slapped ham shirt, which was money well spent. So, thank you everyone. I'm Casting Plague.